back then too, but he's now back. Erik Moses joins us now, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Rape Bowl executive director and CEO. How you doing, Erik? What's going on, man? How are you?
I thought I was about to get a promotion with that pregnant pause you just did right there. I thought you were giving me a new title.
I was thinking CFO. I was throwing some numbers around. I was see what I could do. How you doing, man? This is a fun week for you, isn't it?
It is. I'm down in Dallas at the Big 12 Championship, and lots of burgundy and gold out here.
All right, but the Iowa State colors are pretty close to ASU's colors.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It should be fun.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but with that being said, Erik, since you're there, can you kind of give us, paint the picture for us? I mean, I know there's some tailgating parties today and the Texas Live tomorrow and everything. Are you seeing a huge contingent of Sun Devil fans, or is it 50-50, 60-40? What would you say it is at this point?
Well, I sent Graham Rossini an email this morning when I was at the airport, and I said, if the number of people at Sky Harbor this morning is any indication, there should be lots of Sun Devils down in Dallas, because the airport was packed this morning like I've never seen it before.
Well, that's a good sign. That's a real good sign. So, all right, so Selection Sunday. We were just talking about the Rape Bowl before you came on. Can you kind of walk us through that right now? We know we got to wait a little bit for the quarterfinal, but the Rape Bowl is the one that I'm a big fan of, because you get some teams that get rewarded for having a decent year, not a great year, but a good year, and they get to come out and take advantage of the hospitality and the weather of the Fiesta Bowl. So kind of talk how that system goes, how that all kind of works out.
Yeah, as you know, Rock, I mean, we've got the 5th selection for the Big 12 and the 6th selection from the Big 10. And the good thing about this year is that both of those conferences have qualified enough bowl-eligible teams that we are assured to have a team representing each conference. And so that part is good. Last year, as you recall, we had UNLV from the Mountain West because the Big Ten couldn't give us a team last year. So, I hate to speculate, but the way things are shaping up, it looks like on the Big 12 side, we may have a choice between K-State, Texas Tech, Baylor, maybe TCU, possibly West Virginia as options there, depending on what happens ahead of us.
Okay.
And then on the Big Ten side, we're looking at, I think, most likely Minnesota or Rutgers, and maybe one or two other teams, but those two are the ones that I hear mentioned most often. Again, this is all speculative. And some of it may be impacted by what happens tomorrow in the Big 12 Championship with Iowa State and ASU, because of the trickle down that may have for the bowls that select ahead of us.
So the selection show on Sunday, I believe it starts 10 o'clock here locally, and then they'll start going through the bowl assignments. It's always, for Minucci and I, we always want to try to be ahead of it. So if we text you about a half hour before, can you tell us who it is so we can put it online and then say we know who it was? I mean, because you guys find out before everybody else, right?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because no, we do not find out before anyone else. I find out the same time you find out, when the rest of America finds out. So, and for your listeners, we don't get to choose in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, so don't send me the angry emails or Instagram posts about why didn't I choose X, Y, and Z team. We don't get to choose.
Well, everything pretty much fall in place, Erik, after the conference championships. I mean, I'm sure they'll be working on this round the clock all night long. If it's going to be 10 o'clock our time, it'll be noon Eastern. Will this thing, or will there be some manipulations, or will be some thought process, or will be some criteria? How's this going to go down for the powers to be with the committee?
Well, as it relates to the CFP playoff, I mean, they have been getting together since October to watch tons of football and to rank those teams. And depending on how many, quote unquote upsets we have this weekend, they may have a lot of work to do, or if things go as predicted, they may not have that much work to do in terms of shuffling that top 25 and that top 12 or 14, to be specific. I think on the Rape Bowl side, I'll be talking with several of my colleagues around the country, especially those who pick before we do, trying to get a sense of which teams they're interested in, and to determine whether or not, there's a way, I don't want to say to make a deal, but to get a sense of, hey, we'd really like this team. Are you thinking about that other team? So that each of us, in our own respect, can try to make our games as successful as possible.
So the geographical play, economics, geographical travel, that'll come into play?
Yeah, it should. And you got to think, most of us, I mean, we're promoters, right?
Yeah.
So our job is to put butts in seats. And, you know, I want to do that in a way that allows people to jump in their cars and drive to a place in addition to getting on an airplane and traveling. And so, yes, the regionality will make a play. Will be a factor, I think, both on the CFP side as well as certainly on the Rate Bowl side, the way we make decisions.
Erik Moses joining us here, Rocco Minuch, Fox Sports 910. Erik, I wouldn't be doing my job if I don't ask the question on your opinion on ASU possibly being in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. You know, ASU, which a lot of people don't know if you haven't been here, they're the reason why there's a Fiesta Bowl and the powers to be and the committee and all those ASU folks.
Think about the symmetry of this thing and the irony if in the first year of an expanded CFP playoff field and the first ever quarterfinal, if we were able to have ASU, who is, like you said, almost responsible for the existence of the Fiesta Bowl, play in that game. I mean, it's just too tantalizing not to think about a little bit. And so we would be overjoyed. They haven't played in our game since 1983, following the 82 season. And that team has so much momentum. And look, what I said to people is, you know, some people have said to me, well, what about, you know, the fact that maybe from an economic development standpoint, it wouldn't be as helpful because you wouldn't have as many fans coming in from out of town. First of all, there are ASU alumni all over the country and fans all over the country, and I think they'd make their way to Arizona. But secondly, and more importantly, the momentum that this team has and the energy that the Valley is feeling as a result of the way they're playing, that's more important than what happens in any one year. That's the kind of thing that can fuel football across the state for years to come. And football being more popular and people paying more attention is good for all of us.
And, you know, we talked about this a little bit the other day. It's like, I know what the odds are, Eric. It might be 1 in a million that this happens again, and 1 in 100,000. But if you were to send this script to Disney, well, they would shut it down. They said this is too fictional. We need a little more facts. They'd shut this script down and send it right back to your desk.
Well, the Fiesta Bowl part of it, but just you can make a Disney movie about this ASU Sun Devils. I mean, Cam Scatterboo is a perfect, you know, he's out of central casting in terms of the kind of hero for this. And Kenny is as well. I mean, it's just it's an amazing story, regardless of what happens tomorrow, regardless of how they end the season. This has been a remarkable season for the Sun Devils. And I'm just so happy for Graham and for Kenny and for those kids and Dr. Crow and everybody over there, because it says a lot about what this institution is going to do, I think, in the future.
So, Erik, you know, with Selection Sunday, national television, you hit the barber this week. You all ready to go for Sunday?
You cleaned up?
You all ready to go?
How did you know? I was there yesterday. Yeah, I was getting a little shave yesterday so I could continue to represent you and the other Yellow Jackets well.
I love it. I love it. Hey, buddy, we know you're on the road. We're jealous we're not there as well. I know there's a lot of media out there and a lot of Sun Devils, and we appreciate you giving us some time. So we'll look forward to catching up with you next week after it all goes down, and I'll see you on Sunday.
We're going to have fun talking next week. Thanks, guys.
That's Erik Moses, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl Executive Director and CEO in Dallas, getting ready for the Big 12 Championship. Again, the Rate Bowl is at Chase Field on December 26th. It's at 3:30. That's a Thursday. You go to fiestabowl.org to get tickets for that right now. Why not get them? It's going to be a good game no matter who's in it. All right, coming up, the counselor, Kevin Rowe. We need someone to challenge him at 602-260-9191. And it's an over-under game, and it's pretty easy. You don't even need to come on the air if you don't want. But basically, we'll have the following that you will have to compete with him. So I'll give you a little taste at 602-260-9191. We will have just getting to it here, Minuch. Here, I got it. Total amount of total offense combined in the ASU Iowa State game, over under 600 yards. Passing yards combined in that game, over under 400 yards. Amount of sacks in that game by Rocco Beck, and will be over under 3, and then the winner score of the game. So it's all ASU Iowa State next. 602-260-9191. Kevin Rowe's won 5 in a row. So we need somebody to